Let's go.
Yo, and with that is how we start episode 140. He's recovering, but he looks and sounds good. Shawn the Butcher here with Vertebrae33 for episode 140 of In Madness Pod. I'm starting the podcast with you coughing. So how do you feel?
Oh, I feel fine. Oh, don't start with that. I'm good. I mean, my voice is coming back. Shawn, honestly, my podcast app tells me that we recorded an episode, and when I listen back to it, Edward Scissorhands, I there's parts of it that I kind of don't remember saying, or I don't remember.
Were you on
recording.
like NyQuil?
No,
tripping?
I just was so tired and so out of it that it just kind of all ran together. And sometimes before we do this, I'll think about some things I'm going to say. And then afterwards, you go to bed and have weird dreams, which we are going to talk about in this episode, a couple of my weird dreams. But I just didn't remember saying it. And I actually remember waking up the next day and thinking, when we do Edward Scissorhands, I got to make sure I say this. And I was like, oh, wait, I think we did it already. Oh, well, I hope I said it.
It was like listening to a whole new podcast for you.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I didn't even care about the mistakes.
I'm glad you're feeling better.
I was better when I was sick, I think.
And I'm proud of the statement that I made. Even when one of us or both of us is at 50%, we're still 100% better than most other podcasts.
That's right.
Not to pat myself in the back, but I'm just gonna pat myself in the back here. This is the premiere podcast, as you hopefully already know by now, In Madness Pod, on the socials at In Madness Pod, in the mail sack, which we're dipping in today, and we need to get stacked up for the end of the year. inmadnesspod@gmail.com. You could check us out on YouTube. He doesn't have scissor hands today, but who knows what he'll have for the next couple of weeks. Check us out on YouTube, In Madness Pod. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, give the 5-star reviews on whatever platform you're checking us out on. Make sure you listen to the In Madness Spotify playlist, which grows like a blobulous monster with every episode. I think we're up to like 11 hours of music on what is the greatest playlist of all time, the In Madness Spotify playlist. Happy In Madness Monday. If that's when you're listening, new episodes, no matter who's sick or not, dropping every single Monday for the last, we're almost getting to 3 years and counting of the In Madness Pod. So spread the madness. Tell everyone you know about this show. If you are new here, welcome to the insane asylum that is In Madness Pod. You can get a shirt if you want. You can get a mug if you want, especially for this time of year. We didn't do any Black Friday deals. Maybe we should just, can we even like adjust? We should do something just so people can get some stuff. Shirts and mugs, inmadness.com. What mug do you have for this episode, Vertebrae?
So Shawn, it's winter time, so I'm heading in. Look at this beautiful brown and blue mug, like tipped edges brown and light blue. It's very, it's coming up to, where I can start hanging out in Outpost 33 out back in the snow. Can't wait.
Let's hope. Are we getting there?
Yes.
For year 4 of In Madness Pod?
Yeah, I'm super excited, but it's themed. I've got this. I'm gonna lift the thing up so you can see it. I've got.
Oh, cool! Outpost. Oh, he's got a hoodie.
The thing hoodie, and then I got rocking the shirt.
Are you gonna surprise me with something? Are you gonna announce that we're doing the thing or something?
Well, I am gonna announce my dream that I had, which was the sequel to the thing.
Please.
And my dream that I had, which was the sequel to Halloween 3.
I have these both written down that I wanted to bring up.
But before I was going to do that, I was going to say, my love of, and what we started calling Arctic horror, Shawn, I was realizing recently as I thought about it that I was like, it's actually polar horror because it's the, Arctic or Antarctica, right? So either pole. But I just finished watching finally, after how many years, The Terror on AMC.
Good show.
And I was messaging with our buddy Tom Henderson about the book. So I think I'm definitely going to have to read the book. It's a little, it's large, so I might not get it in by the end of the year this year, but totally in love with it. And now I've started to do some deep research on more polar horror books. and films. And I think when we get to the snowy bits of the year after the new year, we've got to dive into
You're never
some of
gonna say Arctic horror again? It's just gonna be polar horror from now on? I'm gonna be
I
so
don't know.
confused. I'm gonna be like, "Which which
You know
which
what's so
pole? The
funny?
North Pole or the South Pole?"
It sounds cooler to say Arctic horror.
Arctic. It's I just feel it's like that makes it colder.
Yeah, but I guess it's like geographically incorrect is what
I
I
mean,
was
these
I
are,
realized.
again, vertebrae isms that only Tom Cruise would be, concerned about if he was playing Edward Scissorhands.
Vote. You know what? We should put it to a vote. What we should call it. What do people call it? I'm
I'm gonna
curious.
call it Arctic horror. I think that's way cooler.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. We can keep it that way. It's fine. But I'm going to dive into some of that
Were
and
these
hopefully we
sick
get to some of
dreams
that.
you had? Both of them?
No. So the thing was, and
Mhm.
Halloween 3 was not. So I have very, very vivid dreams, Sean. Often very distressing, very disturbing, at times very graphic
Mhm.
dreams.
Mhm.
All the time. All the time. And sometimes I'll wake up and send myself notes on my phone for like, hey, this would be a really cool drawing or
Oh,
like
cool
it would be
shirt.
really
You turn it into inspiration. That's
I
cool.
try to, and then sometimes I just wake up all sweaty and I'm
Yeah,
like,
with a
"Oh,
wet
man,
shirt. I
thank
gotta
God."
change.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, thank God I'm awake. So, do you wanna dive into it now? Do you have why don't we'll do that in a minute. Do we have
Okay.
you wanna dive into the mail sack, or do you have something else
Sure. Let's
before that?
dive into the mail sack.
Mail sack.
Also, send us your favorite moments of the year. If you're listening, I'm talking to you. Yes, right now. If you have been listening all this year, or if you're a new listener, regardless, tell us what has been your favorite moment so far of 2025 for In Madness Pod. Vertebrae was just sitting here listing all the things we've done this year alone, and it's kind of mind boggling. So I'll bring up my favorite moment. Vertebrae will bring up his favorite moment, but we want to hear your favorite moments. I'm talking to you, Psycho Ninja. I'm talking to you, Charlie. Tom Henderson, we know he's sending one in.
Mhm.
I'm talking to you, Tom Henderson. You also said there was a winner to the contest, right?
Oh, also,
I'm
yeah, we
talking to
should be
you, Stoner Witch. I want to hear all these people's favorite moments of 2025.
yeah, that was very cool. So in the last episode, we discussed this Tattoo Savage magazine that I was in, and I said I would send out a prize pack to anyone that would find it, that could find it. And she found it and sent it to me, and then was asked if she had beat Tom Henderson, and was excited, excited that she got ahead of him. So um, for sure, there'll be a prize pack coming out.
A
Probably this
second
week.
one, because she was also the
Yes,
missed contest winner.
yes, yeah. So a second prize pack. So I actually have to dig in a little and make sure it's not something from before, like something more recent to throw in there. So
So if you're
I'll
new
throw it.
here to the In Madness Penitentiary, listening to this show pays off because we actually send out cool shit when we put people
Mhm.
on cool Easter egg hunts to find stuff. So we want to hear what your favorite moment of the year was. Hit us in the mail sack in madness pod at gmail.com as we dip now into one of the millions of emails. Let me just oh, I'm in the wrong app here. Hold on. Okay, as we
Sean's in the
dip
wrong app.
into the mail sack, we got Hunter Higgins.
Hmm.
It says, "It. Sorry for the long email." Oh, Hunter, here we go. Ready? I haven't even opened it yet. Whoa. Okay, it's like a page and a half. Ready? Hunter Higgins, thank you for writing us in madnesspod at gmail.com. Don't forget, you can also send us a voice note if you like, but not an 18-minute voice note.
Hmm.
Psycho Ninja, keep it at like 8 minutes, 7 minutes max, maybe 5 minutes. Hunter says, "What up, Vertebrae and Butcher? What up, Hunter Higgins? I can't believe y'all covered it. Chapter 1. This movie blew me away in 2017. Still, I think about it a lot. I think it's right up there with all the other young adult team up summertime adventure films that littered the 80s, Goonies, Stand By Me, all those types. I actually think I might even be, dare I say, better than all of those." I agree. Just do a little background gnarly bits on my relationship with the story. I love this. Growing up, I was terrified of this movie. Well, not this one specifically, the 90s one with Tim Curry. We had it on VHS in our movie cabinet growing up, and I was so frightened by it, I couldn't even touch the case. That is so
Hmm.
cool. But once I got into high school, anytime I would have to do a book report, I always tried to go with the Stephen King book. Eventually, I figured the book can't be as scary as the movie and covered it. I have never been more wrong, he
Mm.
says. But it did help me understand everything else going on in the story other than just the scary clown guy. I really, really enjoyed the non-linear parts covering different time spans in Derry, like the Bradley gang. And at the end of the day, one of my favorite tried and true tropes, King is a sucker for himself, is having all powerful forces of good finding a way to conquer seemingly infinite evil. It weaves into the King multiverse by having a lot of crossing paths with another of my favorite King stories, The Dark Tower. We're getting there. In 2017, It 2017 does the impossible by adapting one of the hardest to adapt authors in Stephen King. He himself endorsed this movie, and actually, I believe he had a cameo in it. All the child actors crushed it, even having depth and trauma that is not only insanely relatable, but endearing. The movie
Mm.
does a great job, and more specifically, the way it is written, directed, at making you care so much about the Losers Club and only the Losers Club.
Right.
Vertebrae, as you touched on it, it makes all adults and most other kids completely suck. I think this is done purposely to further empathize how much you want to empathize with the Losers Club. And as far as acting, Bill Skarsgård will go down in horror movie history as one of the best villains with this role. He is pure, unbridled nightmare fuel.
Mhm.
Then he goes
Mm.
on to say, Shawn, like you said, the entire sequence inside the house on Nebo Street is epic. Hits all the cylinders. I also remember around the time this movie was released, you did a bumper on Liquid Metal. I think it was a 60-second slam for Metal News. At the end of you hit us with, that's your 60-second slam. I'm Shawn from Liquid Metal, and you'll float too. And I thought that was badass. I probably did that at some point. Yes, thank you. Sorry for the long email. I basically just rambled
Mm.
for 3 paragraphs when I really could have just told you thanks for covering the movie. No, we need you to ramble in
No,
some
it's
of these
great.
emails. It's one
Mhm.
of my favorites, but hey, just to let you know how I felt. Hunter Higgins. P.S. Vertebrae, you're my boy, but I can't believe you didn't like Weapons. Whoa, it's the best movie I've seen all year. Whoa, I bet if it was directed by William Friedkin
Mhm.
and had released in like 1968 or
Oh,
something,
nah.
uh, you would have glazed the ending. But in all seriousness, I think the ending gives you that. I think I got 75% satisfaction. The other 25 is left open for me to decide, which I love. I'm excited to see Zach Krieger does with the Resident Evil franchise this year.
Mm.
Signed, Hunter Higgins. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hunter. That's awesome. I will tell you, if it was directed by Friedkin, it would have been a better film, so that wouldn't even been a debate. That's okay.
Uh,
But,
Great email. That was great email.
I love it, and I love his I thought about a couple things from there, Sean. One is reading a book and being scared versus sort of watching something and being scared, and there are a few times, read certain books where, like, I actually have to, like, kinda look away from the page. You're not seeing anything, but you're picturing in your head, but you gotta kinda pause because 'cause you're getting yourself freaked out, right? And it's funny because this comes up with people, and they'll be like, "But you guys talk about you like these horror films and you like it, but, like, I like it under my own pretenses." Right? I don't wanna see it in the movie in the theater because I wanna be able to pause it if I can, get up and move around, be nervous, all those types of things.
Go to the bathroom.
Go to the bathroom, yet not miss anything. So it's just funny because I listen to, and I'd love to have the host on. We've talked about a podcast called Talking Scared, who interviews a ton of authors. And a lot of these authors, like Paul Tremblay, who's been on here, and if you didn't listen, go back and listen to our Paul Tremblay episode, talk about being afraid of things and like what they can't handle in movies. And it's like more and more that's the theme. It's okay when you're in control of it. Like it's even my dreams that I'm about to talk about to you, I'm still kind of in control of them. How do you digest stuff like that, Shawn?
I mean, my dreams freak me the hell out. You were just talking about your dreams. I
Mhm.
always wake up in the dream in a panic when there's like many hands like coming at my face at the
Mm.
same time and just slowly, and that's when I wake up
Mhm.
and I freak out.
But
But
when you view horror, when you ingest horror, when you're talking about movies or you read a book or you read a comic, does it get to you more when you're not in control?
I mean, I'm not in control when I'm watching any of these movies. Like, not in
But you are
control
if you can
how?
pause it or leave the room. Like, you're in a theater, you're kinda encapsulated, right? Like, it feels like, is there any sort of has there been a moment where it's just freaked you out, but you don't wanna watch it? Or do you plow
Mm,
ahead?
no, I love, like, the anxiety of the theater.
Right,
Like,
right.
I'll do the
Yes.
tuck my little eyes, but, like, still kinda watch out of a corner. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Don't tell anybody, alright? Don't tell anybody." My trick is sometimes I'll just look at the top corner of the screen. So, like,
Mhm.
if something happens, I don't see the other 3 quarters, but that's just
Yeah.
between you and me. That's how I get through a lot of
Yeah,
my
yeah.
stuff.
Shh. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell
It's great.
anybody.
It works a lot. But like when it's just silent and the whole theater and everybody is being cool and quiet in the theater, and it's
Yeah.
just like the ambient, like, and you're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and like your butthole's clenched. Like it is. I love
So
that feeling. I love that.
that's the love of horror. I think it's so funny. There's so many people who aren't into things like that that think like, "Oh, well, if you're afraid of it, like, why would you watch it?" But there's that
A
adrenaline rush of
rush.
watching it
It's
and being
why would you
absorbed
do a
into it.
bungee jump? Why would you jump off a
Right.
friggin' platform? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when I meet people who are into horror that are, like, not bothered or nothing made them scared or nothing made them nervous, I almost think they're sort of missing it. You know, and when we were younger, Sean, right, all our friends would claim that they weren't afraid of this and they weren't afraid of that all the time. All these movies, everyone would lie. Everyone saw The Exorcist. Everyone saw Amityville Horror. Everyone
Everyone
saw the
tries
worst.
so hard to be cool.
Yeah, the worst scene in every movie. I had no problem with it. You know that type of thing. But that's I think a lot of the times that's a lie. That's a lot of bluster.
Quickly, it was a good segue from Hunter Higgins. Thank you, Hunter Higgins. I finally watched Weapons. Let it be known I did like it. I did enjoy it. I did not hate it. It did not get ruined for me. However, I did feel it was necessary to bring up the point that I did have to pause it so I could go to the bathroom and watch the damn movie the way I meant to the first time
Mhm.
in the theaters. And by the time it was done, I was like, damn, I gotta go to the bathroom again.
Mm,
You know what it is? I got my mug here and I like suck on it like a pacifier like all
yeah.
day. So all day I'm just down in water and just
Mm,
so it's just like I thought it was a good movie. I thought the ending, it got wacky for those last 4.5 minutes. But
yeah.
this is our barbarian dude, right?
Yeah, it just didn't have any I
Yeah,
don't know,
yeah,
it didn't have any weight for me.
yeah.
It didn't have any, there's no lore, maybe? There's no
Mm.
extra. It's just sort of there at surface level. I
There's not
love
a lot of investigative bits.
No, there are not a
There's
lot, and I
not.
I love the concept,
Mhm,
and I wanted that time that the kids disappeared to mean something.
mhm,
It didn't
mm.
at all. It's just a throwaway number.
Well, let's
I
not get crazy. Let's not talk about it too much in depth.
but
Maybe we should cover. You won't want to cover it on the pod?
I mean, I guess we could, but I think we've cut but we're not giving it away. They say it in the commercial,
Yeah, yeah,
could
yeah,
that
yeah.
kids
That's
disappeared at a
yeah,
certain
it's on the
time.
poster.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's fine. I'm not giving away
Okay.
what goes on,
Yep,
but
yep,
it's
yep.
certainly that premise, that idea, I loved it, and I
Yeah.
think I hopes got really high for that piece. I think I'm in the minority because any person I've brought this up to, most people I've brought
Most
this up
people really love
are
this
like,
movie.
"What?" And like,
Yeah, yeah.
"I thought you would have loved that."
Mhm,
But
mhm.
sometimes, Sean, you know this, we talk about this when we talk about Guillermo del Toro
Yeah,
movies
yeah,
with you.
yeah.
Sometimes the things just miss, and it's just not your jam.
Mhm.
And
Which
and
is
and I'm not
completely yeah, you're not
yeah, and I'm not
poo-pooing. Yeah, yeah,
disparaging it. I'm
yeah,
not going
yeah.
online and tweeting about
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
how much Weapons is overrated. I didn't really
No,
enjoy it.
Josh Brolin, amazing. The girl who played Silver Surfer in the new Fantastic Four, which I just watched, she's amazing. The dude running around with the big eyes,
Right.
he's amazing, and even the lady, the creepy lady, just all really great characters. And I felt the story was really like aspects of the story were cool,
Right.
and like yeah, I
So
found it very enjoyable.
part of the reason we started this podcast, Sean, was we, our obsession with movies, obviously, and our discussion about them. And part of my thing is, and if you've been listening for 3 years, this won't be a surprise. But if you're just tuning in because you watched our It clip on Instagram and just started following us, as we got all these new followers from the clip from a movie from 2017, uh, if I become obsessed with it afterwards, right? If I want to like own the score and I want to see if there's a novelization and I want to know more about those facts, those so like I can enjoy a movie for what it is and move on. I think for me, some of the Marvel movies are like that. Like I would enjoy it and then I move on. It was fine, but I'm not then needing more of this world. Like right now, very into Welcome to Derry, you know, very into what we were talking about, polar, Arctic horror, whatever it is, researching other stuff to the point of looking up like, real expeditions and what happened on them. And that's what happens. That's what we do when we do the movies, right? We do Misery and I read the Misery book and look up other things. And when they have that next layer, Sean, it I enjoy it so much more. So like I didn't dislike Weapons. It just didn't have extra for me, right? I didn't like it because there wasn't a second speed. And I
I can't
think
believe we
that's
covered
yeah.
Misery too. We have done
Yeah.
some epic episodes on this
I mean,
podcast.
Reservoir Dogs, Misery, and Jaws in the same year, along with having to sit through Mortal Kombat and Turtles in the same year.
Man, I give you some of the best moments of your life, and you
Yeah,
don't
it's fantastic.
appreciate them as they're
Fantastic.
happening, but I feel like down the road, you'll be like, "Man, Kano and Goro really play their characters well."
Yes. I have
Shang
lots of
Tsung
dreams
especially.
about Goro. Zero Mortal Kombat dreams I have, though.
Well, whatever, let's get into it. I wanna hear about your Halloween 3 sequel and
Okay.
your Thing sequel.
So I guess it's probably after we did Halloween 3 because we absorbed these things so much and then it's in my head. So one of the nights I have this dream and I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking about it. Now I don't know about you, it's like you're absorbing it and as you're awake and doing things, more bits of the dream are coming back to you. That's what happens to me and then it started to kind of flesh out a little bit more. And I told Mrs. Vertebrae, I think I dreamt the sequel to Halloween 3.
Mhm.
And you know, I you know, I appreciate her very much because the look on her face, she was trying
It's
to be
like, "Which
sweet.
one is that?"
Yeah, but she was trying to be sweet, but also in her eyes, like I felt a little bit of sadness, Sean. Like she's like, "This is the man I picked to spend the rest of my life with,"
You're like, "Did you see Halloween 3 though?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not only that, but it's not when did that movie come out? There's nothing current about anything to do with that movie, and here I am, talking about it. But in my dream, essentially what happens in this dream is another warlock and coven kind of rises up
Mm.
again. So I don't know any resolution for how the film finished the other one. I don't, and I didn't realize that this was a sequel in my mind to Halloween 3 until it got to the end. But this whole thing kind of rises up again and there's this whole mask deal. They're doing it again and they're trying it. It's more recent times.
Is it
And
still Stonehenge?
there was no Stonehenge. So we it was the miniature one from Spinal Tap. We essentially get to a part where we're in this house and the main character is in the house and they're viewing these kids watching TV and they're about to do the whole Silver Shamrock thing
Snakes
again,
thing, yeah.
right? This is where it gets weird, Sean. The person viewing this
Mm.
also has a mask on. So we start to see what's going to happen to these kids through the mask holes,
Mhm.
just like the original Halloween,
Halloween, yeah,
right?
yeah.
But the person with the mask on starts to take off from the house to get away from what's about to happen. Like they kind of knew what was about to happen on screen. I don't know if the mask is stuck on them. I don't know what the deal is. And as they're walking way up the street, ironically enough, up the street on a street I lived on in Queens, like 15, 20 years ago, this person picks up a knife. And now we're seeing the eye holes and we're seeing the Michael Myers knife.
So
But
he's the
they're
one that got away.
partly like deformed because
Mhm.
they had some aspects of the television, but they didn't get all away. So the movie ends essentially, or this dream, in my mind, it's a movie with this masked person, just like the original Halloween,
Mhm.
with that kitchen knife, seeing through the mask holes, and we don't get another Michael Myers. We get
Okay.
another killer in place of Michael Myers. So in this dream, essentially, Michael Myers existed and was killed off.
Served his purpose at the end. He was
And what they were
exploded in
seeing,
the in
yeah,
the
and what they were
hospital.
seeing in that film was like a documentary. When that security guard is watching the Michael Myers thing, that's actually a documentary. He dies in the explosion, and this is like, I don't know, I mean, maybe this is my Corey. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say that, but this is the next person, and they start to like walk, and as they're walking and the leaves are going, you start to hear the original Halloween theme kind of
I
coming
should have
in,
had it queued up. Damn.
and then here
Yeah.
we are. So the next serial killer is really born
Mhm.
from being partly deformed from
Mhm.
these masks. What do you think, Sean? What do you
I
think?
I think we should write it, pay print it, sell it, stamp it, and make it a movie or a mini series.
Yeah. Yeah, and like it's hard to recreate how it made me feel at the end, but it was like this weird moment where it was like I was the person who had that mask on, and it was like, now you have to take up the mantle of this serial killer in a way. It was very, very weird, but
I think that this would be cool to talk to our buddy Aub about at IDW Publishing because they've been putting out a lot of really cool, like, what did he tell us? Event Horizon, but about the crew
Mhm.
on the ship before the other crew. And they just put out another one of like a quiet place before the right before it happened or the
Right.
day after it happened. This sounds like an idea you could pitch to Aub and have it be like Halloween 3.5.
5. Hey, the point fives are back, ladies and gentlemen, but in movie form. But yes, so that was my Halloween 3 sequel that I
That's
came up
cool.
with in my
That's
head.
cool. I like it. I like it.
Now for the controversial one.
I want to hear all about this one.
So this is my sick state, and hearing about, right, there's all this talk of Thing 2 bubbling up again. Carpenter's mentioned it again. There was a Blumhouse discussion a few years ago, but Carpenter recently mentioned it again. Supposedly they're working on a sequel, but it's taking forever. I don't know what the deal is with it. I'm also, Sean, I'll say, a little bit nervous. They announced an Exorcist film with Scarlett Johansson.
Is this a sequel to the one that we hated?
I don't know, but I just
What
don't
was
know
the one
what.
we trashed?
I'm
Exorcist
not
Beginning?
Yeah, I'm
Is
not
that what
sure
it was
the
called?
reason.
I don't
Oh, I don't
remember.
remember. I don't remember. The Heretic? Heretic. No, I don't know.
It's a
It
separate
wasn't very
movie.
good. It wasn't very good.
That was fun. That was like one of the first movies we collectively got on to trash. That was over, I think, Christmas or Thanksgiving break last year.
Yeah, we got some cool stuff for this year's Christmas too, and our anniversary. So the Thing too. So essentially what happens in my dream, and I'm gonna leave out the parts where I sort of went off on tangents that had
Mhm.
nothing to do with, like, at one point in the middle of this dream, I had some homework I had to do that I hadn't turned in. And then
The
it went
Thing,
back to the this
McCready.
movie dream, right? And, but essentially what happens here is they have to head back to, there's another science base, and they're going to go there, but these scientists are basically investigating the fact that these, our polar caps are melting. So they've got this environmental concern, right? So what happens when things melt, Shawn? We learn in the original thing, things start to get revealed, right? So at that point, the scientists are there. There's a base that's very similar. This part of my dream gets a little hazy, but they stumble upon a body, and it's you only see it from behind, and it's deformed and been all like thinged out, but you don't know who it is. You're not sure who it is, right? Help us out, Shawn. Help the kids at home. Who were the two last people remaining in
So
the
you
thing?
can't tell if it's Childs or McCready.
Absolutely. But you could see them looking at it and they're horrified by it, right? So thawing happens, all this stuff ensues. There's a laboratory. Now the thing is kind of broken out. Da 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 da. Not sure what happens in the middle part, but we suddenly get a big reveal because they get in trouble and somebody bursts in to help them. And we realize that it's McCready.
Helping them.
And McCready is alive and he's rescuing these scientists who got themselves in trouble. There's like an ice cave and there's the kind of, it's more outside than how the thing was. It's more like at the Mountains of Madness, like in bits of ice and stuff. So we're like, holy crap, McCready's alive. So that must be Childs that was there. That was, you know what I mean? Messed up by the thing. Then we come to find out that McCready survived because there was indigenous people around that saved McCready's life.
Okay.
And they saved his life because in the cold, when infected by this virus with the thing, it takes longer to populate your body. In the warmth, it moves quicker through the bloodstream, happens very quickly because remember it was originally frozen in ice. So we then find out through another reveal that McCready is missing a leg, that they saved his life and removed the part of the leg that was infected. So McCready is still kind of infected, but he's stuck living in this cold environment, which is kind of suppressing. Yeah. And that was it. I don't know how it ends. I don't know anything. I don't know if somebody's related to somebody or whatever, but the visions in my dream were that they weren't sure who it was. You saw kind of like part of the arm and whatever in a back view.
So was it Childs?
It was Childs.
So that was Childs that they
So
saw.
we'll get it.
But
You would get a
McCready
reveal later on.
almost got
He survived. He died basically. He essentially died, but then these indigenous people that he brought him in, and we could get a flashback. Now this is not my dream, but I thought about it later, and I'm like, we could get a flashback scene with their certain nursing him back to health. And there's a reveal, almost like in Godzilla -1, where the girl gets the black stuff that's up her neck. Like that part of his leg has kind of that stuff on it too. Now, Shawn, this is all going hand in hand with me watching The Terror at the same time and me watching Frankenstein at the same time. So there was a couple kind of amputations that take place in both those things. So maybe that's where that ended up being in my head. But it was a way to bring him back. And he basically was done with the world. You know, he was like, oh, they saved my life and I'm done. And his viewpoint is like that he's angry that look what we're doing to this planet now, right? So you can kind of roll in kind of what really is going on with the environment and how
he becomes Snake Plissken.
Well, that would get a little crazy. But, you know, there was also an article that we posted or I posted at one point where that these melting polar caps have revealed some new viruses that have bothered people and new stuff that's getting unearthed that's been frozen for long periods of time. And whenever that happens, people always say, oh, look, the thing's happening, or, you know, we're headed back to Outpost 31 or whatever. So that's based on reality. Like that's actually happening. Like things can thaw out and we'll get some viruses that would existed there or some microorganisms that, you know, weren't really around. So, what do you think, Shawn?
I think those are both really I think those are both really cool ideas. The debate of who was the thing at the end of the movie is still a debate till this day. I watch the movie multiple times every year, and every single time I watch it, I'm like, I think Childs is the thing, and then the next time I think McCready is the thing, and then the next time I think Childs is the thing. Yeah,
I think if you're doing the movie, McCready can show up. He's, you know, he's able to be in the movie now, right? I think you miss it if you don't have him, but you got to figure out a way for him to have even survived out there. Like he has to be essentially rescued, and kind of nursed back to health. I think he's in pretty bad shape. I don't think he's any kind of hero, that may upset some people, but I think you know, he's the same guy who's dumping his drink into the machine, and wanting to just blow it all up so it doesn't get anywhere. And maybe you get some lines in there about how he should have just let the thing go and the world would be better off with it, or like that type of stuff. But anyway, those are my two. Write in and tell me, have you ever had a movie dream? I have them on a regular basis. These are the two that kind of were timely over the years. I've had them. I definitely had a very specific misery dream after we did Misery. So maybe I'll start to write these down and we can talk about them. But those are my sequel dream ideas,
I'm
dreams and
surprised
nightmares,
you
Sean.
remembered this much of them without writing them down.
Yeah, well, once I knew we were going to do this, I was like, do I write it down? And then I was like, if I write it down, then I feel like I'm embellishing. I'm not trying to pass off all this as like, oh, it was all concrete and whatever. Some is a little bit of thought when you wake up, but I wanted to give you what I purely dreamt about rather than me sitting down and then crafting it and be like, it'd be really cool as if, yeah. So
Blair
I
pops
don't,
out here. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know how it starts really in the beginning. I don't why they're there, and I don't know how it ends specifically, but I kind of think that would be a pretty badass way to show back up again if he's in like the big, he's in like sort of like different clothes and has just a different look to him and is just totally torn up, and he survived and is angry at the world. And yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool.
I'm looking forward to whatever they do for the thing too. I hope it'll be as cool as your dream was.
I know, now there's a standard. Imagine what if it's that exact idea.
I imagine they just steal your idea, and then Carpenter just reaping the benefits, just raking in all the bucks, and we're still here.
I mean, here's the thing that would make this podcast like a huge hit then, because we have this already recorded.
He would say thank you in Madness Pod for the
It'd be
inspiration and for always interviewing my wife Sandy at New York Comic Con. We'll see you in 2026. Really quick, did you? I mean, everybody did the Spotify rap. Did you do the Spotify? See the Spotify Wrapped? Did you have a Spotify?
I gotta look at it. So, do they send it to you, or is it just on the app?
You just gotta, once you open it up, like one of the first things that'll pop up, it'll be like, check out your Spotify Wrapped. So I checked mine out, and my top podcast, In Madness Pod.
Oh, nice.
But what was even more interesting, it says I'm in the top 12% of the fan base, which means like I don't know how that's possible because I listen to every single episode. So there's people who are in a topper fan base of the podcast than I am.
Wow.
So if you ended up with In Madness podcast in your Spotify Wrapped, in any part of your Spotify Wrapped, take a picture and send it to us, and we'll repost it and tag you. And that's fucking awesome. Thank you for listening. But yeah, I want to see if we showed up in your damn Spotify Wrapped.
I want to see if I have it. How come I open the app, Sean, and I don't see it anywhere?
I mean, there should be. So go to your search thing and just type in Wrapped. But I mean, right when you open it on the home page, it should just say your 2025 Wrapped. Or at the very top, there's those little like menu items and one of them says Wrapped.
It does not. It says all music, podcast, audiobooks.
This is what we do with our parents, and we're doing it live on the podcast with each other now.
Absolutely. But I want to see. What my top podcast is going to be. Well, I don't listen to podcasts on here.
It'll be Blast Points. Shout outs Blast Points. It'll be Talking Bay.
No, because I don't think I ever listen to podcasts.
Oh, I'm not on Spotify.
No,
I'll help you find your Wrap.
Last year it just popped up, and I even got like email about it.
Looking for
Maybe I have to update the app. Maybe I have to update the app.
But yeah, if you are a big time listener of In Madness and Spotify said so, please tag us in the picture. It'll be cool. I want to repost that. I want to see that. Hopefully Vertebrae is in the top 10 percentile of the listeners.
Listen, in my defense, I was very sick for a while.
You
So,
were. You
but
were.
I wanted to say something else too.
Yeah,
They're
go ahead, go ahead.
watching that show, The Terror. I'm looking up the score to see who did it. And it was this guy, Marcus Feldstrom. And unfortunately, he passed away. But after he passed away, they released a double album of his work that was kind of inspired by The Terror. So it wasn't The Terror score, called The Last Sunset of the Year. And it's incredible. It essentially has the sounds from the show The Terror. So if you're into it or watched it, it's pretty neat. They do have it on vinyl. I was thinking of getting it. However, it's a German label, so I'm going to pay a lot of money on shipping right now. But
did you get all your gnarly bits in for episode 140? Definitely not 0.5 of In Madness Pod.
I did, but I am now bummed out that I cannot seem to get into Wrapped.
I'll help you find this. We'll figure it out.
All the kids.
We were trying to figure out what we were going to do next week because we know what we're going to do for the next couple of weeks, but we have a couple of weeks we're trying to figure out. I just got a text from Uncle Vin Romes of Moontooth, and he said he's wherever we need him to be. So I think next week we'll have a cool interview segment with one of our close personal homies of the podcast.
Nice.
Then the plan will be to follow that up with a little present for everybody. And then the plan following that will be the year in review. So I want to hear
our 3-year party.
Yes, I want to hear from you. If you've been listening to this podcast, it's time to participate. If only once for the whole year, send us an email, inmadnesspod@gmail.com, or send us a voice note, inmadnesspod@gmail.com. Tell us your favorite moment of the year. We will go over it on the pod. I will do mine. Vertebrae will do his. Maybe we'll get some special guests. We'll see what we can do. I'm looking forward to next week's episode. And with that, with Vertebrae's crazy dreams, it's good to see you getting healthy again. We'll be back again next week, 100%.
Yes.
And yeah. Looking forward to having our guest next week. So we'll see you then for episode 141 of In Madness Pod.